Hello, and welcome to the first episode of The Full Length. I recently watched the movie Transformers, 1986, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So let's talk about it. Everyone knows what a Transformer is. I'm not going to get into the history of that. With that said, we do need to talk a little bit about the TV show that aired before and finished after the film. Transformers Generation 1, which I'll also be calling G1 throughout this video. It's a toy commercial. Let's be real. It was made by Hasbro to sell toys. Along with that, there's one really important trend that became apparent in the 65 episodes before the movie. This trend is the concept of removing established characters to make room for new characters. This isn't new for Transformers. In fact, it happened all the time in G1. Blue Streak, Gear, Hauler, and Trailbreaker, just to name 4, are all examples of this trend. It's a tale as old as time. A Transformer gets introduced, is relevant in the plot for a few episodes, and then they disappear, fading into the background so a new face can take center stage for a bit. Such as the Aerial Bots, Omega Supreme, and the Protectobots, to name a few. It's inevitable. Hasbro needs to sell new toys. And there's only so many times you can convince a parent to buy the same Optimus Prime for their kid. It also maintained potential. Allowing these characters to fade into the background maintained that there was always a promise that these characters could return at a later date. On this front, the movie was initially nothing new, introducing new characters such as Ultra Magnus, Cup, Springer, RC, Blur, and Hot Rod, which is what they called me in high school. But something changed with the movie. One of the first scenes of the film is somewhat of a redux of Season 1's pilot episode, More Than Meets the Eye Part 1. The episode sees Megatron attacking an Autobot spaceship. But in the movie, this time, the crew doesn't stand a chance. Both times, the characters Brawn, Prowl, Ratchet, and Ironhide were among the crew. The first time around, Ironhide leaked some lubricant, and that was really the only damage that the Autobots suffered. The second time around, there's a lot more at risk. The film made death real, and no one was safe. During an attack on Autobot City on Earth, Optimus and Megatron go head-to-head to a degree never before seen with Transformers, blasting holes with their guns, striking and stabbing with fragments of the now ruined Autobot headquarters. He has Megatron on the ropes, begging for mercy, reaching for a gun unseen by Optimus, but noticed by Hot Rod. Hot Rod tries to stop Megatron, attempting to wrest the weapon from the Decepticons' control, making Optimus unable to get in a clear shot. But Hot Rod never stood a chance. Megatron gets his shot at Optimus, making the Autobot leader's already severe wounds fatal. With his final moments, Optimus appoints Ultra Magnus as leader, handing him the Matrix of Leadership, promising an Autobot will use it to light their darkest hour. Then, in a move of pure cinema, the Matrix slips from Optimus' hands and is caught by Hot Rod. For those of us at home just tuning in, foreshadowing is a literary device. The Autobots, now devastated, must pull themselves together and go save their allies on Cybertron and its moons, after a planet-sized monster eats one of said moons, along with Jazz and Cliffjumper, who is still on it. Meanwhile, the Decepticons go through their own restructuring of leadership. Megatron and a handful of the other Decepticons get shoved out of Astrotrain's airlock, straight into space, where they're found by Unicron. The big bad of the movie is named Unicron, by the way. Megatron is rebuilt and renamed Galvatron, swearing to serve Unicron. Now tasked with delivering the Matrix of Leadership to his new master. I'll give you 3 guesses on how long this loyalty lasts. Oh, also, Starscream is just straight up vaporized when Galvatron returns to the Decepticons. No body. He's just gone now. I'd like to take a quick break and take a moment to thank our sponsor. What? You didn't want us? Raid Shadow Legends said no? Huh. That's disappointing. Anyway, the gang has some issues getting to Cybertron, and I'm not going to bore you with the specifics. You can watch the movie yourself, but it is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. So I'll give you the Spark Notes version. The Autobots shuttle is split in two, with Hot Rod, Kup, and the Dinobots separated from the rest of their team. Our heroes must fight their way through, in no particular order, Alicons, Decepticons, Piranhabots, Australian Mad Max robots, a squid, a judicial system, the Dinobots, and Sharkticons. Hot Rod must prove his strength to the Dinobots and convince them to follow him, eventually reuniting with the other Autobots. He then uses the universal greeting to convince the Mad Max robots not to fight them. Then they have a dance party to the tune of Dare to Be Stupid by Weird Al Yankovic. I cannot make this up. Cutting off this incredible musical tribute, the Decepticons attack. As the Decepticons come down, Ultra Magnus tries to use the Matrix of Leadership, but gets gunned down by Sweeps. Don't worry, he's fine. Then the Matrix is stolen by Galvatron. Galvatron betrays Unicron, trying to use the Matrix against him, but gets swallowed. Don't worry, he's also fine. Unicron then transforms into a really big dude, as we transition into the final stage of this movie, the battle inside of Unicron. The Autobots ram their ship directly into one of his eyes. The gang reunites with Jazz and Cliffjumper. Oh, neat, they're fine. Hot Rod, on his own, goes after Galvatron, eventually taking back the Matrix of Leadership, and using its power, guided by the voice of Optimus, he becomes Rodimus Prime, which is also what they called me in high school. The Matrix of Leadership's power begins to explode Unicron from the inside out. Rodimus transforms into a Winnebago, and officially taking on the role of leader of the Autobots, guides his team out of Unicron the only way they had left, through Unicron's other eye. With that, back on Cybertron, our heroes celebrate, having saved Cybertron, defeated the Decepticons, destroyed Unicron, and having come into their own as a new generation of Autobots. I want to be completely candid. This movie was like the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. I loved Kup's constant stories and comparisons to the past. I loved Galvatron and Leonard Nimoy's portrayal of him. I loved Unicron as an incredible, unmatched threat, devouring people, moons, and planets as a force of nature, and Orson Welles' performance giving Unicron a deep, almost primordial presence in every scene he speaks. But most of all, I love Rodimus Prime, and the future of change that he represented. And Transformers has always been about change. New characters have always taken over from previous characters, adding to the cast, always shifting where the spotlight is. The difference was that this time, so many of the old guard were made to take their final bows, removing all future potential for them. I think this is why so many people hated Rodimus Prime. He became an object of blame and shame by both the community and in the next season of G1. Season 3 would feature Rodimus Prime struggling with the mantle of leadership and the expectations placed on him to be like Optimus Prime, slowly and eventually coming into his own. That is, until Optimus Prime is fully and officially revived late into Season 3, taking back the Matrix and resuming command of the Autobots. While exciting, this also meant the development of Rodimus Prime was well on its way out. I wish Rodimus Prime had the chance to live up to his own potential. I wish we could see a new leader stepping out from the shadow of Optimus. I wish G1 had been allowed to transform. Who knows what it might have become? I want to thank you for staying for the full length. Was that as good for you as it was for me?